Hello friends, welcome back once again to my channel. Hope you all are well by the grace of God. Stay home, stay safe and utilize the time as your own best possible way. So for that said, look the presentation of today. So take it. So today we are going to discuss about the cell and cell organelle. I previously discussed about the first part, which was includes the cell basic concepts of cell, and then the brief descriptions of the functions and the structures, and some saying about the different cell organelles. Which are very important as per the class syllabus also, and also for the future who wants to proceed with biology, because any kind of competitive exams, any kind of other exams also, this portion is very important, because nowadays the study of cell and cell organelle are much more oriented with these portions of gene, chromosome, DNAs, RNAs, and new, and every day there are adding some new discoveries in modern world. So that's a very important. The head office or the brain of the cell, that is the nucleus. Robert Brown in 1831 discovered first nucleus, and he also gave the name of the nucleus also. This is the structure of nucleus. The main structure of the nucleus is the nucleolus, that is also called the brain of nucleus. So nucleus is the brain of cell and the nucleolus is the brain of nucleus. Then the nuclear pores, nuclear membranes, granules, chromatins, etc. are present in the structure of an eukaryotic nucleus, you can say. There are some associated endoplasmic reticulum is also there with the nucleus. Next is the most important thing. Just see the level, just see the connection between all things, that in a particular cell, it can be plant cell or animal cell, whatever may be. Inside the cell there is nucleus. Inside the nucleus there is chromosome. Chromosome contains the DNA. There's a very famous structure of DNA that has been given. It is called the double helix structure of DNA. We will discuss about the double helix structure in later. This is the associated Chargaff's rule associated with the structure of DNA. The main chemical composition of DNA are the nitrogenous bases. They are the purines and pyrimidines. Purine bases are the adenine and guanine. Pyrimidine bases are cytosine and thymine. But there will be a double bond and triple bond between purine pyrimidine bases. Like A and T will form the double bond, and G and C will form the triple bond. Alongside the nitrogenous bases, it also includes the purine and pyrimidine. There are phosphate group and pentose sugar in the structure of DNA. These togetherly they call the nucleotide. If there is no phosphate group, it is called the nucleoside, you can say. So Edwin Chargaff was a very famous scientist, and he gave a rule about the orientation of the four nitrogenous bases. These are the Chargaff's rule has been given here, which signifies A by T equal to G by C equal to 1. I mean A plus adenine plus guanine equal to cytosine plus thymine. They have been more or less in a similar proportion in a percentage in the total DNA content. These two are very important figures according to the discovery of the chromosome, Sutton and Boveri. Before them, Waldeyer also roughly give the structure of chromosome. So what is the chromosome? Chromosome is the thread-like structure that present in the DNA. So they are the chromosome. This is a structure of a chromosome. What are the basic components of chromosome? You can say there are two types of arms, P arm and the Q arms, and between them there is a joint portion. This is called the centromere. Uh, this is the SAT chromosome. SAT chromosome or the satellite chromosome is a special type of chromosome. Actually, chromosome has several structures. They have a two constriction, primary constriction and secondary constriction. In satellite chromosome, the region after the primary constriction is present along with the chromonemata, secondary constriction, and the satellite portion. This is called the set chromosome. In some chromosomes, after the primary constriction, the whole structure can be missed. So they are called, they will associate only with the primary constriction region. So this is the set chromosome. In our chromosomes, chromosome number 13, 14, 15, 21, and 22 examples, the set chromosomes. One very interesting fact, we often heard that with the growing of our age, the length of telomeres has become shortened. Why? Because it is revealed nowadays that the length of chromosome is a biomarker of chronological aging. So when our age is growing, the degradation of that telomere signifies that length of our age. Okay. They also, without aging, uh, some disease can also affect the length of that, like diabetes, hypertension, Alzheimer's disease, cancer, etc. So if you look at the classification of chromosome according to the position of centromere, they can be four type: telocentric. At the tail region, there is centromere. There is actocentric, just before the tail region, just before the extreme end of the tail region. There is the centromere, and then the submetacentric is just below of it. And metacentric means two chromosomes. Actually, the four chromatids are the parts of the chromosomes. Exactly in the middle, there is the centromere. Uh, the chromosome classification can be the other type also, that is the autosome and the sex chromosome. We know that our human being has 23 pairs of chromosome, that means 46 chromosomes. In the 23 pairs of chromosome, 22 pairs are called the autosome and 2 called the sex chromosome. In case of female, they are the homozygous. You know that the structure is XX, and in case of male, that is XY. And the representation of the chromosomal structure, that is given by karyotypic uh, diagram. So this is called the karyotype of the chromosome rearrangement or chromosome arrangement. This is a very famous model. You know the picture. I think all of you know that picture. That is Betty Watson, Joseph Dalton Watson, and Francis H. Crick. They are working on the Cavendish laboratory for the discovering of the double helix model of DNA. And this is the double helix model of DNA. There are the father figures of DNA. That is the Francis Crick, James Watson, Maurice Wilkins, and Rosalind Franklin. We will discuss some uh, unknown stories. You can say some historical references, as well as they are very important for your known the modern community. Later, now first look out the structure of the double helix model. That is very important. So this is the structure of a DNA double helix model. Uh, it runs from the 5 prime regions to the 3 prime regions. The total diameter is 20 angstrom, and their total length is 34 angstrom. In each pair, there are 10 base pairs are present. So, in each, there are 3.4 angstrom. The length is there. There is minor groove and major groove is present. Major grooves means it forms a greater loop-like structure, and one is the minor groove. So, this is the structure of a DNA double helix. Why double helix? Because there are two complementary helix that runs through the structure. One is from 5 prime to 3 prime region, one is from the 3 prime to the 5 prime region. In between them, the bonds are present, nitrogenous bases, etc., etc. They are also there in between the bonds, in between the double helix structure. This one is a very interesting fact. We often comes to know about two father figures, and sometimes also about the Maurice Wilkins on the discovery of DNA double helix model. Watson and Crick also awarded Nobel Prize for that in 1953. But actual story is something different. That in the Maurice Wilkins lab, there was a very brilliant scholar named as Rosalind Franklin. She first discovered the structure of DNA double helix model by the X-ray crystallography. Here is the famous photo 51 is present, which is actually the original work of Rosalind Franklin. But that time, women were not allowed to take that much of credit like men. So that's why Maurice Wilkins wanted to take the whole credit to himself. That's why he unethically provoke and reveal the paper, reveal the original research work of Rosalind Franklin's X-ray crystallographic model to Watson and Crick. By the help of Maurice Wilkins, their work has been become much more easier. So that's why the DNA double helix structure, DNA double helix model was discovered so early, and they become they took the advantage. So this was completely under the wrapper at that time, but when the modern science proceeds and some more studies has been done, then it's the whole uh, truth has been come to front of us from for the society. So that's why Rosalind Franklin is regarded as the mother of the DNA double helix model. Here is the photo 51, and she is working in the laboratory. This picture has been given. The total phenomena has been given in a comic story like that. And Rosalind Franklin was died almost after 6 years of the discovering of the double helix model in the ovarian cancer. So the total phenomena, or total tragic story, I can say, that has been given through uh, comics, some dialogues, etc. That has been given. Now the DNA double helix model chromosome, you understand. Now it is the term the RNA. RNA is the ribonucleic acid. DNA is the deoxyribonucleic acid. It has been different types, but there are main three types. They are the transfer RNA or tRNA, ribosomal RNA, and the messenger RNA. Messenger RNA or mRNA carries the codon, so they will help in the synthesis of proteins because they carry the, and transfer RNA helps to transfer the ribosome to mRNA. Now what about the tRNA? tRNA is the transport RNA in the site of protein synthesis, and ribosomal RNA they combines with the proteins to form the ribosomes in the site of protein synthesis. Without the transfer RNA or ribosomal RNA, there are some other RNAs also like small nuclear RNA, small interfering RNA, micro RNA, etc. are also there. They have several purposes, but they are not so important in the central dogma of cell biology. I discussed in the previous slide what is the central dogma. That is the relation between DNA, RNA, and protein. That is central dogma of molecular biology. Uh, Also, some RNAs are non-coding RNAs. What is the non-coding RNA? You know that in the process of translation, I also discussed in the last slide that from RNA the protein will made in the process of translation. But there are some RNAs also that they are the non-coding, so they cannot code the protein. So they are the non-coding RNAs are also there. Just like our yeast RNA. Yeast RNA, you know, the phenomena of dosage compensation or the X chromosome inactivation. One X chromosome of female was inactivated with the presence of yeast mRNA. Yeast mRNA cannot translate to the proteins. So that's why they off the signal of the synthesis. So these are the different types of RNA. Now one of the most very important things to for your knowledge, that is the nucleosome. Basically they are the structural unit of a eukaryotic chromosome. Nucleosome contains a code of histones. Histone is a protein Nucleosome was discovered very recent discovery. In 1974, the total structure of nucleosome has been revealed. Though the nucleosome is not very recent, it has been along with the structure of the chromosome that has been given, but whole structure of nucleosome and other histone modifications, etc., has been discovered very recent times. There are four core histones present there: H2A, H2B, H3, and H4. Each of them are two, so they are called the histone octamers. It is the core DNA, and there is linker histone, the histone 1, which linked with the linker DNA. That is the structure of a core histone, or the you can say the nucleosome model. Almost 200 base pairs of DNA are there in the nucleosome model. There is histone tail also. Uh, these are called the epigenetic modifications because this is something beyond the level of genetics. So they are the epigenetic model. From chromosome has been differentiated to the chromatids. Chromatids will make some scaffolding loops, and scaffolding loops will make some second order packaging, or it is also called the solenoid fibers, solenoid circles. By this name the model is called the solenoid model. The solenoid model contains the 30 nanometer in length, and every 30 nanometer there are almost 6 solenoid coils are there. Second order packaging, then the first order packaging will form the final nucleosome structure. Here are some histone modifications. There are two main enzymes, HAT, histone acetyltransferase, and HDAC, the histone deacetylase are there. They are responsible. Histone acetyltransferase are for the gene activation, and just the opposite is the histone deacetylase. They will for the gene silencing. The process has been shown here. The process like DNA methylation, DNA acetylation, alkylation occurs for the modification of several histones. There are three important regions present in the nucleosome model. One is the writing sequence, one is the erasing sequence, one is the reading sequence. Writers, the main role of the writers are the enzymes that add a mark. Readers are the proteins that bind to interpret the mark. And the erasers, the enzymes that removes a mark after the function is over. So there are some closed and open signal runs through the portions, and there are several regions like of demethylation, methylation, etc. There, the H3K9 methylation means the histone 3 K9 position, the methylation will occur. Here also the structure has been given. The writing, erasing, and reading sequence has been there. There are some markers like for the action of promoting, action of enhancing the method, and also the insulator. Insulator means the inhibiting the total structure. Sometimes some genes activates the process, sometimes some genes spoils the process or inactivates the process. This insulator is also called sometimes the barrier insulator because it enhances, because it stops the further synthesis. So these are all kinds of some histone modifications are there. So this was indeed a very elaborated description. I think I have tried my best to deliver whatever I could do for these very important topics, and I think all of the listeners, especially the students, have listened very carefully. These are very important. Thanks a lot for their patience. So, not more today. Stay tuned for the next videos, next words I can say. Till then, goodbye.